So just again, a warm welcome to everybody. My name is Tara Healey. I'm the founder and director of Point 32 Health's mindfulness program called Mind the Moment. And just as a reminder, Point 32 Health is the parent company of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. And for anybody that is new this morning, a very warm welcome to you. Really delighted that you're here. These practices are about anywhere from like 11 to 14 minutes in length. They are fully guided. You don't need to have any experience at all with meditation. We save a little bit of time at the end, usually like 10 minutes or so for Q&A, and also sharing resources. So if you've come across a book or an app or a podcast or something that related to practice that you want to share, there's an opportunity to do that at the end. And of course, you can, if you want to hop off, you can do that as well. And so I wanted to start off this morning with a poem by Ingrid Goff Madoff. And she's somebody that I have read her poetry over the years in doing this podcast. And I find her to be just joyful and hopeful, and with so much happening in the world, so much unsettledness globally and within our own country. She kind of came to me this morning as someone to kick the practice off with. And I'll also bookend with the poem again. So I'll read it in the beginning. It's very short, and I'll read it again at the end. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that with everything that's happening, to dedicate your practice to something that is happening in the world that is important to you. So rather than pick one thing and that, we all dedicate our practice, it's a nice practice to get into the habit of just offering up the energy and the motivation behind your practice. For the benefit of if there's a human being in particular that comes to you, or a situation that is happening that you could offer, the benefit of your practice to that. And so there is a person that I'm going to be holding in my thoughts as we do practice today, and offering the energy of my practice up to this person. So the poem does not have a title, but the book is called Moonlight and Remembrance. It's a very kind of sweet cover. And so as we get ready to go into our formal practice, here is the poem. Everything is sacred, precious. I light candles, incense, scatter beauty around my house, color, delight, fragrance, spice, texture, plants, and flowers. Let there be life and love right out in the open, nothing to hide, nothing withheld. Here foolishness, simplicity, and devotion carry no shame. Come, friends, rest in the grace of this allowing. Joy is the light radiance of our love affair with living. So with that, let's go ahead and move into a posture that feels like it's going to be supportive for you today. So again, you have options. You can stand, you can lie down, you could remain seated if you're seated right now, and just let your body settle in. So surrendering your weight into the support of the surface that you're on. Eyes can be open or closed. Take a couple deep breaths as a way to let yourself arrive and settle in. Make your exhalation a little longer than your inhalation. Just surrender, feel the support of the earth below, yet maintaining a spine that is upright and engaged. Letting go of what has happened so far this morning and releasing anticipation of what's to come. Just allow yourself to fully arrive here in this moment, Feel the physicality of the body. So coming out of the narrative in the head, coming into the body, feeling the weight and the heft of the body, noticing the points of contact with the surface that you're on and the back of the body. So the soles of the feet are along the back of the body. What does that point of contact actually feel like? What's the raw data? What does it feel like? Noticing other sensations that may be happening, a pulsing or a vibration or a tingling, feeling the heartbeat, noticing temperature. So, as if you are a scientist and a subject, and mindfulness can be likened to mindfulness can be likened to looking through a microscope. So, if you look through a microscope, you have an attitude of receptivity and curiosity to whatever you're seeing. And we are in this practice a scientist and a subject. We happen to be the subject. So mindfulness can be likened to an examination of the inner world, the way looking through a microscope is to the outer. And we bring that attitude of receptivity, allowance, and curiosity. Because when we look through a microscope, we're not assessing or judging or making commentary necessarily on what we're seeing. We're just receiving what is being shown to us. This is exactly what we're doing in practice. We are receiving what is appearing, our thoughts, our emotions, our body sensations, some of which we like, some of which we don't. It's all allowed. So just seeing what's going on in your body, what physical sensations are happening, aware of the narrative as well. Bringing an attitude of allowance and receptivity. And let's sweep awareness through the body. So starting at the very top of the head, and I'm going to have you on your own, just go from head to toe through the different regions of the body in somewhat of a sweeping motion, and just noticing what sensations or lack of sensations are in each particular area. So from head to toe, take a minute to just scan the body. And now just coming back to whole body. See if there's any particular area that might be calling for your attention and let your awareness land there. So nothing to do really. Soften if you would like, that's fine. But just receive. And let's go ahead and find an anchor for the wandering mind. So something that we can return to each time the thought slips in, uninvited, as they do, and we see that it has slipped in. Because the moment you see it, you're no longer lost. You're actually awake and aware, and you know it. It's like a metacognition, a meta awareness. You know where your mind is in the moment you see that a thought has slipped in, and that's a really good thing. So we notice what's on our mind, what we lean into, what we push away, we release it, we soften the body contracts with thought, and then we return to an anchor. So let's find an anchor. It could be breath sensation, wherever you feel it most prominently. So as you inhale and exhale, where do you notice the sensation of your breath? So you have the whole carriage of the body, perhaps you feel the movement and it's easy for you to track. It could be more narrow, like the nostrils. breath might be challenging, if you have a cold or just, your breath isn't working for you, you could use sound. You could also take the palms of your hands and rest them on the top of your thighs, and the feeling of the point of contact would be your anchor. Or another body sensation that's easy for you to land and anchor to, knowing that thoughts are going to come and go through this entire practice together. That's not a problem. As soon as you see it, just gently make a soft note, thinking, planning, rehashing, regretting, whatever, and release your body, soften your body, yet maintain that engaged upright posture and return to the anchor of your choice. So I'm going to be silent for the next couple minutes. And just see where your mind is in this moment, noticing that a thought has slipped in without being invited. Not a problem. Release, soften, return to your anchor. Noticing where the mind is. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may whatever good comes of our practice be of benefit to all beings. And I want to also read again, everything is sacred, precious. I light candles, incense, scatter beauty around my house, color, delight, fragrance, spice, texture, plants, and flowers. Let there be life and love right out in the open, nothing to hide, nothing withheld. Here, foolishness, simplicity, and devotion carry no shame. Come, friends, rest in the grace of this allowing. Joy is the light radiance of our love affair with living. So, taking a moment to reorient to the room that you're in. Um, and we have a little bit of time to share resources. You know, if you've come across something that you want to share, whether it's a podcast or a book, or you have a question, you know, anything that I might have said this morning about practice, especially, you know, this idea that we are a scientist and a subject, that mindfulness can be likened to an examination of the inner world the way looking through a microscope is to the outer. So we are a scientist and a subject bringing that same lens of curiosity, receptivity, and openness to whatever is happening within us and around us. But, you know, part of the beauty of practice is that we get to see our mental habit patterns with more clarity. Um, will the oh, so Susan, there, if you go to the website that I posted, point32healthlivingwell.org, um, you'll be able to get to our everything we do on um, on Tuesdays and Thursdays is recorded. So you will be able to get there by going to that website. The other reason I put that up there is because on the last Tuesday of the month, at least through June, we are interviewing thought leaders and scientists, neuroscientists, on, you know, each of them has a particular area of interest. And Susan Bauer Wu is up on the last Tuesday of this month, so on the 29th from noon, 12 to 12:30. She is such a rock star, and I just really want to promote that session. She is a oncology nurse and a palliative care nurse. She was the president of the Mind and Life Institute from 2015 to 2023. The Mind and Life Institute was co-founded by the Dalai Lama. It's a research institute that studies the effect of contemplative practices on the brain. And it also is an organization that is fostering wisdom practices and dialogue and community. And it's a really, really impressive organization. That's Mind and Life. So she was president of that for a lot of years. And she also, in her more recent career, has become a real environmental activist and has written a book called A Future We Can Love that was so impactful. I read it just recently. I found it incredibly impactful. And so she's really going to be sharing the trajectory of her career and kind of weaving her early career interest in with what she is doing now, which is a lot around climate, and all of it related to how our health is impacted, our health and well-being. But she's a mindfulness teacher, leader, leadership coach. She's amazing. So when you go to point32health.org/livingwell, so you have to scroll to find the mind. It's not hard to find, but you'll see mindfulness. And then there's like 3 columns. The far left column is the one that you're going to want to look for to register for this. And you can also see the whole lineup. But aside from all of that, I just want to check the time. So we have time for questions or comments, or, again, like anything that I've said about the kind of attitude that we bring to practice. I think the other thing that I could add is just letting go of expectations around what your practice should be like or how you should feel. I was texting with a friend this morning who is doing about 10 minutes a day, and I just reminded her that what's important and what the research is showing is consistency, not even the amount of time, but just consistency of practice. And to let go of expectations that you should feel a certain way, because the idea is that we are learning to we are learning to be with whatever has arisen. So whether that's physical, emotional pain, we're learning to relate to that in a way that in time offers less resistance and more balance and equanimity with what is. So I hope that makes sense. It can seem counterintuitive, but if we also want to, this is an empirical practice that we are testing for ourselves to see. There's nothing to blindly believe, and I think that is also a really important concept to get across. Nothing to blindly believe, but testing for ourselves with time, with practice, start to notice how you relate to things that may have created contraction. Do you have a little less contraction? If not, then you're noticing for yourself. So anything else that anybody would like to offer or add? We're at 8:56. Oh, Lozelle, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Wow, you did a research paper on mindfulness. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, would love to hear more about that. Um, hoping to present great. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly powerful practice. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but the research that is going into this and has gone into it over the years to really look at the impact of this practice on the brain and on the body and on well-being is profound. Um, and so my hope always, when I go back to the very first session I offered was in 2005 at work. And, to imagine that from 2005 to now, to see what has happened with this practice is really remarkable and hopeful. And one of my goals has been to bust common misconceptions. Because I think that we say the word mindfulness or meditation, let's say meditation, and people think it's one thing. But it is, like Dr. Richard Davidson said, it's a little like saying the word sports. There are hundreds of different kinds of meditation. There are different reasons one might choose one over another. This is called insight meditation or mindfulness meditation. And the quality of instructors that we have hired, I have always felt really proud of. These are people that have dedicated many, many, many hours to silent retreat practice over, decades. For some of our instructors, decades. And so I'm really, from the beginning, have been really careful about who I hire, making sure that they understand the nuances of this practice, which are there's a lot of nuance to this. Yeah. Lozo, thank you. I mean, you've been here for a long time. I know your name as a regular. And I, thank you. Thank you for your participation and, your offering and just being here. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming, whether it's your first time here or you've been coming since we started, which was during the pandemic. So I think, is that 5? That's 5 years, right around now, because yeah, it was March, but I don't think any of us actually knew the devastating impact and how long we would be home. So I'm grateful to all of you for coming and for being part of this community, and we'll keep it going. And anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget Tuesdays, we're still doing gardening with Shanti Douglas and John. And then the last Tuesday of the month, I will be interviewing Susan Bauer Wu. So, okay, everybody, take care.